Testing one, two, three. Okay. Testing one, two, three. All right. Good morning, everyone. Testing one, two, three. All right. Good morning, everyone. Testing one, two, three. All right. Good morning, everyone. Testing one, two, three. All right. Good morning, everyone. Testing one, two, three. All right. Good morning, everyone. Testing one, two, three. All right. Good morning, everyone. Testing one, two, three. All right. Good morning, everyone. Testing one, two, three. All right. Good morning, everyone. Testing one, two, three. All right. Good morning, everyone. Testing one, two, three. All right. Good morning, everyone. Testing one, two, three. All right. Good morning, everyone. Testing one, two, three. 1 second, guys. Good morning, everyone. Audio testing. 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 Okay. Okay. Yep. So, yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but okay, I think we're fine now. Right? You guys hear me? Okay. Okay. All right. Let's get started. Yeah, I have the infinite loop of testing one, two, three. All right. Let's get started. So today we have no coffee. I'm not a coffee person, Bill, but yep, you guys know me. I do believe in that. All right, so getting started. Today we have the FOMC decision. So we have the federal funds rate, FOMC statement, and FOMC economic projections, all at 2 o'clock Eastern. Then at 2:30 Eastern, we're going to have the FOMC press conference. Okay. So today, that is the big, super big news. Um, we've already had core PPI month over month and PPI month over month come out earlier. One came out as expected for core PPI. However, PPI month over month came in significantly lower than expected. Now, in the context of the old days when the Fed was chasing inflation, they were trying to get more inflation out there. Um, that would have been bad, but in the current environment, this is actually probably good. Um, so, I mean, that's my expectation that they would actually consider this a good thing right now. So, in short, these two numbers have come out in such a way where, in a sense, that's good for the market to conclude that the Fed is not going to raise rates today. That's the expectation right now. The market expects no rate hike today, but who knows, right? The Fed could surprise everyone. I do think there's a significant, very significant chance. My personal guess is there's probably more chance than most people think. Well, I shouldn't say what most people think, but most of the analysts probably think that they won't. I have a strong suspicion they might, but most likely the analysts are going to be correct. Okay, so that's just the way it works. But of course, if they're wrong, there's going to be a big surprise at 2 o'clock. We'll watch the markets. If the markets change their mind, then probably the market's right. Right. So we'll find out. So that'll be at 2 o'clock Eastern, and that's going to set the tone for the rest of the day. Everything today will be leading up to that, and basically it'll be the market trading whatever it expects the Fed is going to do. Very important, extremely important that the market stays on top of where they think the FOMC is going to, what they're going to be doing for the rest of the year. So, big day for today. Um, so we don't know which way the market's going to go off of this. Um, I do know that once the news comes out, if the Fed raises, then that should sharply move the market down because clearly it doesn't look like the market's been pricing in a rate hike for this meeting. So we'll see. So let's look at what stocks were moving yesterday. One of you in the coaching room asked, why do I go over the stocks that were moving the previous day? And basically, it's just to make sure everyone's aware of what was moving. So maybe you missed something, or maybe you're not sure what type of stocks we're looking at. Well, this is the way we know. So, firstly, let's look at the NASDAQ yesterday. This is what it looked like, the QQQ. Clearly, no strong trend, just up, down, all over the place. Now, when the overall market looks like this, usually most stocks look the same way, but sometimes you have kind of a bipolar market where where some of the stocks in the market are really moving up and others are really moving down, and they're kind of pulling against they're pulling in both directions on the index, so it gets neutral like this. Yesterday was kind of like that, but I would say there weren't as many stocks moving up yesterday as we have seen in some other days. So this was not that good of a day. If you compare it to um, the day before, you can see that we had a much better trend there than we had yesterday. So that was our situation yesterday. So looking at the stocks that were moving, first up we had Fastenal, FAST. Now, this stock was able to reach target number one to the upside, which was 56.11. And then after that, just flatlined around that price, never moving significantly past it. Another stock that moved really well was Rivian. Rivian was able to reach target number two of 15.17, and then reached a high of 15.46 before coming right back to that 15.17 area and stopping there. Next up, we've got FITB, which was able to reach target number one of 26.57, a high of 26.83 before coming back to target number one and settling out. So not able to reach target number two. Mara was able to reach target number one very quickly, 989. Then it sold off back to gap fill down to the previous day's close around just above 930. And then it went back to trading somewhere in the middle between target number one and the opening price of that day. BLNK was able to reach target number one of 691, a high of 701, and then it flatlined around target number one for the rest of the day. We have Enphase, which was able to reach target number one of 183.04. Then it sells off down to the previous day's close of that session, then comes back to the day's open for that session. Similar move that we saw from some other stocks. IPX was not a stock I was watching, but one of you in the coaching room was. That was able to reach a high of 18.57. It started the session at $9.12, so obviously a pretty big move. Again, I was not watching this stock. The first time I even noticed it was when one of you pointed it out, and that by that time it already gapped up, or it already halted several times and then started to move up. But you can see a very awkward mover, not like a very smooth moving stock, but it was able to perform either way. Next up is BIDU, which we definitely were tracking. Now, BIDU was able to reach 146.12, target number two. It actually peaked out at 146.13, so only went 1 penny past that. After hitting that target number two, it sold off down to target number one, which was 143.49. Basically traded the rest of the day around that. Next up, we have AHI, which at the opening bell, was able to move up sharply to a high of 224 from an opening of 185, and then after that, just sold off for the rest of the day. JD.com was able to make a nice move up to target number one of 38.60, a high of 38.82, and sells off back to the opening price of the day. I'll mention the Silo was looking interesting pre-market, but as soon as the bell rang, this was a pump and dump. It just sold off for the rest of the day. We had a similar fate to MGIH, although this one went up at first from about 294 a share to a high of 342, and then it sold off all the way down to the previous day's close. So again, another pump and dump. Similar fate for FWBI. Pump and dump, starts off the day high. As soon as the bell rings, starts to sell off, almost filling the gap to the previous day's close. So most of the pre-market opportunities we saw yesterday ended up being pump and dumps, which is not surprising. Usually that's what happens to them. But sometimes we get the runners. So I would say most of the time they sell off and they don't go anywhere, but sometimes they do. And finally, you have Billy, which was able to reach 1745, target number 1, reached a high of 1748, and that was it. All right, so folks, that was all we had for yesterday. There are obviously other stocks that moved too. If you look at Apple yesterday, didn't really do much. Microsoft didn't really do much. Google didn't really do much, etc. So we didn't see a lot of these bigger name stocks. Amazon was bearish, actually. I forgot to mention that one. Amazon was mostly bearish. It was able to reach target number 2 to the downside of 125.28, basically selling off right from market open. So that one did have a pretty good trend. Then it came back to the previous day's close and settled there. All right, so let's take a look at what's moving pre-market today. So we've got the following. We have ASST, which is currently up 9.43% on 1.1 million shares. That does qualify, so we'll go ahead and add that to our radar. ASST, pre-market radar, that is. Oh, forgot to check on this stock yesterday. No, it didn't go up. Okay, so we didn't miss anything on that yesterday. Next up, we've got, looks like Plug Power. Not one I usually see on the pre-market list. Up 8.71% on 2.6 million shares. Looks interesting. So we'll add Plug to our radar. Next up, we've got AUVI, which is currently up 14.53% on 6.88 million shares. That definitely qualifies, so we'll add that. Okay, next up we've got WISA, which is up 38.76%, 7.6 million shares. So we'll go ahead and add that. Okay, so far that's all I see on my list. We're basically looking for stocks that are NASDAQ traded stocks. We want something that has a percent change of at least 6%. Positive or negative is fine. It has to be NASDAQ listed, a stock that's above $1 per share. And in the pre-market session, we want the stock to trade at least 1 million shares. So if you guys see any stocks that I haven't mentioned that meet that criteria, let me know. Bob mentions IOBT. Let's take a look. And that stock is down 22%, 1.2 million shares. Okay, that qualifies, so we'll add that. IOBT. Any other stocks? Next. Okay, up 31.36%, 1.2 million shares. Yep, that qualifies. So we'll add that. Any others, folks? Any other stocks, NASDAQ, that meet our criteria? AMD. Okay, let's take a look. All right, Pre-market. So Leslie, the only problem here is percent change not large enough. AMD's already on our regular list, so if it starts to move from the opening bell, we'll see it. Has the right volume, but not the right percent change. So we'll have to look at that on our normal list at the open. Any other stocks that have changed at least 6% in price, positive or negative? 1 million, well, at least 1 million shares traded pre-market. Nasdaq stock, of course, and above $1 per share. Any others that meet our criteria? Let me know. All right, I guess that'll be it. All right, folks. So I'll go ahead and wrap up for today for the pre-market pulse. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. The more likes we get, the more subscribers we get, the more people are able to join and watch. So our channel has been growing rapidly, so appreciate that, but we want to keep that going. For those of you who don't know much about us, be sure to check out our website, fundertrading.com, where you can learn more about how we fund the traders. There'll be a link in the description. And for everyone else who's in the program already, thanks for joining me this morning. I'll see you in the coaching room in about 16 minutes, technology permitting. All right, folks. Have a great trading session, and I'll see you guys in the coaching room who are there shortly.